This is Real News Media TV, coverage you can trust. Please like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates. Good morning, my Real News Media TV family. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'm wishing for everyone a blessed and productive day. And in the news this morning for January 4, 2023, 4 arrested after being caught pushing wounded man from vehicle. 4 men were detained after they were caught on Sunday attempting to push an injured man from a vehicle along Hillshameen Road in Portmore, St. Catherine. The police were quick on the scene and the men tried to escape in 2 other awaiting vehicles. A team of officers gave chase and the men were caught. The wounded man was taken to the Spanish Town Hospital where he was pronounced dead. Superintendent Hopton Nicholson, acting commanding officer for the St. Catherine South Police Division, said investigators believe the deceased man was part of a group involved in shootings in the corporate area when he was shot and injured. Superintendent Nicholson warned Jamaicans, especially young men, to avoid getting involved with gangs or other criminal activity. He said the St. Catherine South Police Division will continue to be vigilant in monitoring communities to deny criminals the opportunity to commit crimes. Couple discovered dead in apparent murder-suicide as divorce was being finalized. January 3, the date once recognized as the Ellis's wedding anniversary, has now become tainted for their relatives and the friends, whose most vivid memory will now be that of a wife lying in a pool of blood and a husband hanging at the back of their home. Acting on a missing persons report, the police visited the couple's Bonita Crescent home on Tuesday and stumbled upon the bodies of 48-year-old former taxi operator Keith Ricky Ellis and his 43-year-old wife Stephanie, a former loans officer at a bank in Mandeville. According to police, Stephanie, who was found with a wound to the head, is believed to have been bludgeoned with a crowbar. Their deaths are believed to be a case of murder-suicide. Relatives told the news that despite a known breakdown in the couple's more than a decade-long marriage, and with plans in motion for a divorce, they could not have anticipated the tragic end. They were together for about 20 years and married for about 15 to 17 years, but I heard about 2 months ago that they wanted to be divorced, said Keith's mother, Ivy Nemard. She said that when her son was first served with the divorce papers, he refused to sign them. However, after retaining the services of a lawyer, he began to follow through with the process. I think it was actually today that the lawyers were supposed to get the signed documents, but the whole thing was stressing him out. Him go America some time ago and him get a stroke, Nemard further disclosed. She claimed that her son had expressed his displeasure with the marriage on more than one occasion, as he was being criticized for snoring loudly, among other things considered to be trivial. Him come at my house this morning about 6, and him bring about 12 pairs of shoes and asked my grandmother to clean them for him. Him come dress up and said he was going out, but I didn't ask him where he was going because me know him used to bring people to the airport. I didn't know this was going to be the last time I would see him alive, she said, as her whimpers morphed into loud wails. The deceased were described as quiet and respected people who were loved by many. A Sunday all we have dinner together. Stephanie was so nice and quiet, and Ricky was such a nice guy to me. I knew about their plans to divorce, and I was going to ask her why she didn't find somewhere else to live. But I say, let me just leave it because I never hear them quarrel and Ricky never came off as violent, said Alfred Hewitt, Stephanie's uncle. When I hear this, I fell down on the ground. Taxi operators applying the New Green to Mandeville route were equally as shocked and heartbroken. It is sad. We know Ricky from long time in the taxi business, and we know Stephanie. And now this shocking news just 3 days into the new year. They were together for a long time, from she was at Church Teachers College, and for them come up now and them just lose them life. It's sad, said Junior, one of Keith's former colleagues. It was a busy day for the Manchester police, as less than 4 hours earlier, they had been called to the scene of a double murder in Providence District. The bodies of 52-year-old Althea Rowe and her 35-year-old son Cleon Palmer were discovered by relatives at their home about 11 a.m. after being unable to reach them since late last week. A British citizen is the first murder victim in St. James for 2023. The police in St. James have confirmed that a suspect has been taken into custody in connection with the death of a man from Britain who was shot dead by armed men at a guest house in Bogue Hill, St. James on Monday. The deceased has been identified as 33-year-old Sean Patterson, a personal trainer who resided in West London in Britain. Reports are that about 11:45 a.m., Patterson was standing on the pool deck at the One Love Villa in Bogue Hill when he was approached by a man with a handgun. It is reported that the gunman chased Patterson and shot him multiple times. The police who were called saw Patterson in a pool of blood when they arrived. He was rushed to the Cornwall Regional Hospital, where he was pronounced dead. A friend of the deceased told the news that Patterson arrived in the island on a Virgin Airlines flight from London, England on December 29. The news also learned that Patterson spent 3 days at a popular apartment complex in Freeport, but later booked in at the One Love Villa in Bogue Hill. The 34-year-old suspect, who is said to be from Kingston, was allegedly deported from England in 2013. Patterson is the first person to be murdered in St. James since the start of the year. In 2022, St. James recorded a total of 198 murders. Police say a relative of prominent Jamaican nabbed in airport cocaine bust. A Jamaican-American man who a police source says is the relative of a prominent member of society has been taken into custody following a major cocaine bust at the Norman Manley International Airport in Kingston on Monday. The police have, however, withheld the identity of the individual, who is being held on reasonable suspicion of breaches of the Dangerous Drugs Act, the source told the news on Tuesday. A release from the Constabulary's Corporate Communications Unit said approximately 12 kilograms of cocaine with an estimated street value of over $600,000, about 92 million Jamaican dollars, was seized during security checks after anomalies were detected in a blue suitcase destined for the United States. The police source disclosed that the would-be passenger, who was scheduled to depart on a JetBlue flight to Fort Lauderdale, attempted to check in a suitcase loaded with cocaine. After being identified by airline agents at the boarding gate, the suspect managed to slip away while waiting to be escorted for his suitcase to be checked. He left the location and departed the airport before he was held by the police, the source said. A manhunt was launched by the Jamaica Constabulary Force's Narcotics Division in the Kingston 6 area, and the suspect was apprehended. The police went and did a search of an address that is connected to him, and he was persuaded to report to the police after a conversation, the source said. The narcotics police are continuing investigations into the matter. Up to press time, the source said the police were waiting for the suspect to retain the services of an attorney to begin questioning. The Dangerous Drugs Act allows for the monitoring and the control against the illicit use of specific narcotic drugs such as cocaine, morphine, and the psychotropic substances such as ganja. Under the Act, a person found in possession of cocaine is liable on conviction before a circuit court to a fine or imprisonment for a term not exceeding 35 years or both, and on summary conviction before a resident magistrate to a fine not exceeding $500,000 or to imprisonment for a term not exceeding 5 years or both. Bow wanted by Portmore police for murder. Detectives assigned to the St. Catharines South Criminal Investigations Branch have named the Ayaton Cargill, otherwise called the Bow, of Madden Street, Kingston 12, as wanted. Cargill is wanted for murder. He is being urged to report to the Portmore CIB by 5 p.m. on Wednesday. Meanwhile, anyone knowing the whereabouts of Cargill is urged to call the Portmore Police at 876-949-8403, 119 Police Emergency Number, Crime Stop at 311, or the nearest police station. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates.